Hello and welcome to Hot Indonesia, your global window into the world's fourth biggest country. I'm Dalton Tanonak in Jakarta. Here is this week's H-I Hotlist. Case confirmed, the coronavirus is officially here. How much should we let it affect our daily lives? Trading places, the United States says Indonesia is now a developed country. Really? And ole-ole-ole. What are Indonesia's most popular souvenirs? Now, here are my co-hosts each and every week. Glad to have them here. Sandrina Malakiano, former TV news anchor, now a political marketing consultant. And under the Chinese zodiac animal, she is the boar, but never boring. Okay.
Thank you.
And Santiago Uno, former vice governor of Jakarta, business executive under the astrological sign of the crab. But he's never crabby. Are you? Okay.
Salam.
Here is hot topic number one, case confirmed. Now, this week began with the news Indonesians had been expecting for a while that the coronavirus is here. The president himself made the announcement that the first two patients are being treated for the illness that has killed more than 3,000 people in 76 countries. More than 90,000 have been affected. Now, it's also important to note that 48,000 people have recovered from the coronavirus. So, and that's more than half. So, back to the Indonesians. The two are 64-year-old mom and her 31-year-old daughter. The younger woman had gone dancing on February 14th. The reports say felt sick. A Japanese national at that dance event was confirmed with COVID-19 in Malaysia after he left the country. So, I mean, obviously, all those who were there that night should be treated. We got to treat this seriously, and everybody's got to go and get a test.
Yes. What people are underlining now is the fact that we are under testing. Because even those who came back from Wuhan were untested because the government said they were declared free. So they just didn't go through any form of testing. They were just isolated.
They shouldn't wait, then they should go in.
Yes, but unlike other countries like Singapore and Malaysia, and also, forget Italy. Italy went overboard in terms of testing because they panicked. It's not based on symptoms anymore, so they just tested those who are not showing symptoms because apparently there's asymptomatic also.
But how did they choose those people to test?
Just those who were worried.
Oh.
So it's costly. It's very costly.
I think it is highly anticipated, but now it's officially here with two confirmed cases. Now, what should we do? We should not be panicking. We saw lines of people hoarding stuff. That's really bad. We should not be doing that, but we should take all precautions. Wash your hands, use sanitizers frequently, avoid touching your face and touching your mouth with unwashed hands, and be careful if anybody is coughing or sneezing or blowing their nose around you. Secondly, I think, like you said, half of the cases have recovered, which is thank God, alhamdulillah. But we have to take precautions with people who are basically age 60 years or older, because 80 plus years, 14% death rate.
Especially with underlying illnesses.
That's right. And 70-80%, 70 to 80 years old is 8%. So 60 to 70% is 3%. I think we should be rationally adaptive, improve our immune system. I saw Sandrina took some jamu, which is very, very good for your immune system.
Which is a traditional Indonesia herbal mixture, right?
Yes.
Yeah, herbal mixture. This is, you need like
ginger, turmeric.
Ginger, red ginger, you get
turmeric.
Yeah, they're healthy
cinnamon.
things, natural substances.
So communities should support each other, and I am calling that you should practice a responsible way and should not really engage in panic. In the panicky way.
Well, you mentioned people, the panic buying. I happened to be in the grocery store on that day the announcement was made.
On a Monday,
around 5 p.m. Yeah, this past Monday, and I couldn't understand why it was so packed on a Monday at 5 p.m. Because that's usually the slowest shopping day of the week. And I looked in their carts, and there were stacks and stacks of toilet paper.
Panic buying.
I go, what? Does somebody have the runs or something? What is there about diarrhea? But then I remembered.
You know, I did a test, Dalton, just before I came here to on an online app. From you can buy anything from supermarkets. They ran out of lots of goods, basic necessities. because of the panic
But
buying.
why? Why? You
Actually,
can still.
that's why, like Sandy said,
They don't want to leave the
don't-
house. Is that
don't-
it? Is that why
yeah,
people do that?
they're afraid of a lockdown. Like maybe people might not be allowed, or they're scared of leaving their homes. But that would create another problem. I mean, you'll run out of goods, and
Not necessary, not
prices
necessary.
would skyrocket, and well, be considerate towards other people. But another issue, Sandy and Dalton, is that of course tourism. Indonesia earns a lot
From tourist
from
industry.
tourism, from the tourist industry, and with the Chinese tourists also not coming, and also with the international almost pandemic issue now, the government is giving this subsidy for the tourism field, which is a huge amount of money.
They want to pay social influencers,
No,
social media
but
influencers
if
a lot
I
of
may
money, I
give-
read, in other countries.
If I may give my opinion, is that why support like already settled and well-developed airlines and hotels by covering discount rates? Because 25% will be covered by the government, 25% by the airlines or the hotels, because they want to give 50% discount.
I would do it differently, though. She has a point.
One more, Sandy. A huge amount is going to be used for social media campaign.
That's what I mentioned.
For
The social media
tourism.
influence. You know, that's
Why
the.
not use it for the establishment of biosecurity
Okay, now
labs
we're a little
or
off the
something?
topic here. I want to get back to daily life stuff. You know, Java Jazz was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Out of 143 acts, only 2 canceled. So I applaud the organizers
in the Clouds has been canceled.
for not
Yeah.
well, the whole thing. I understand one Korean singer has canceled.
But my daughter
Chung-ah.
said it's going to be
Okay, well
canceled.
that's one thing. The Indonesian Open badminton tournament in July still on. The organizers
Right.
reassure other badminton tournaments around the world have been canceled. I think we should act cautiously, but life goes on and let
Yeah.
life
Oh, wait,
live.
Sandy said you would deal with it differently.
I would deal with it differently because the one that will get the biggest impact is people underneath the sort of
Poverty
like the middle income brackets. So you would give incentives to these people to continue to be able to continue to consume. And basically the SMEs that will be impacted. You go through the banking systems in order to give some kind of leeway because some of the companies will not be able to meet the interest
Loan
payments
extensions,
and
interest
principal
waivers,
payments.
and things like that. That's
right.
a good idea.
And
That's a good idea.
This is one thing that we need to be careful, much like what this happened before with SARS, with MERS. So this is like a J curve, and this is in the same conference call that I was in last week, that they say people overreact. And when they see people overreacting, they continue to even more overreacting. So this will have an impact of it's going to get deepen, the impact, but then it will suddenly, when things go back to normal, it will form a J curve. A J curve, and this is what we should really anticipate.
So fast recovery.
It will be a fast recovery.
Okay, again, but
and
life
I think
life must carry on.
goes
Yeah,
on. and-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Hot Indo will continue
Hopefully.
shortly. Yeah. Trading places. Is Indonesia finally a developed country? You're watching Hot Indonesia with me, Sandrina and Sandy. Here's hot topic number 2, trading places. As of February 10th, the United States has no longer got Indonesia on the developing countries list. It's a technical designation determined by several criteria, including share of world trade and membership in the G20. What it does is allow higher tariffs on Indonesian products entering the U.S. Indonesia has a surplus of $9 billion on $26 billion of bilateral trade. Now, the trade minister says to counter this, exports must be boosted to keep competitive, which is also another way to keep the economy growing. That's one of the solutions.
This is one of the things that you would say, Indonesia, developed country? Huh? But it's part of the international negotiations on trades. The U.S. has been trying to find a way to punish certain countries for unfair trading practices, but we definitely, I think we have to be honest to ourselves. based on a lot of developed country distinctions, standards, we are not there yet. But we are classified as developed countries more for trading purposes. So trading conditions will change. There will be negative externalities. Tariff will go up. It's a wake-up call for the government. It is what it is. It's U.S. already saying that we are a developed country. We should take it in the chin and say that, okay, let's develop.
But I would take it differently. We shouldn't just accept them accept the decision that Indonesia, because we're not. Our income per capita
Right.
is way
But as
lower
I said, it's
than
more a technical thing than a reality. They're not
Yeah,
saying that we
they're
have
not
clean
saying
water,
no.
that we have no poor
They-
people.
But,
You know?
but the impacts that they all export products from Indonesia will cost higher than.
But what can you do? You go and
Make a
complain?
declaration.
Yeah, you
we
can-
are not a developed country yet.
They went
Our
into
income
joint
per capita-
negotiations. They tried to
Yeah, they
fight for
tried,
us,
but
yeah.
they couldn't make it. So I would say it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Let's develop other ways to access non-traditional market and non-traditional products of our exports, boost our domestic demand, and make sure that we have control. We have the destiny in our own hand in terms of how we develop the exports. And Trump administrations is also fighting with the WTO. They want to basically investigate other trading violations. So if Indonesia is indeed a developed country, you would have a GDP per capita of much higher than today.
Which we don't. And again,
And we have a more developed infrastructures, and we have other ways to calculate the standard of living. But as I said, it's water under the bridge.
Okay.
those
It
are
is-
the
it
global
is what it
criteria
is.
for.
It's because
for
we are in the
developed
G20,
countries.
and because our global trade is above the percentage that's set for below a developed country or less developed country. But again, this will impact our export, products export to the States. Do you have
Obviously.
any information how big the impact it would
We are having a
experience?
team now calculating it because
Could
it's
we
still
just put it aside?
it's still work in progress. But definitely there will be more higher tariffs. There will be negative externalities, and there will be more economic diplomacy. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
And the way I would approach it is look at Indonesia's positions within the global supply chain and try to insert Indonesia into the global supply chain. Work on the economic partnership agreement with we just signed one with Australia. We need to develop other partnership agreement and handle this like a big boy.
And
Don't be a
also-
crybaby.
And
That's what I
also,
say.
boost the internally, nationally, boost the love to use
Local
local
products.
products to increase production locally and give
Here,
benefits
like
to
this,
the
Manusia
Manusia
Merdeka.
Which means?
which means we're independent. We do so we can survive well without having to be dependent on other huge countries who could treat us unfairly.
This is what President Sukarno said, that you have to stand on your own feet.
That's always the goal, yeah, self-sufficient. But you know, your point, Sandy, about being the human aspect of this is that are people feeling that? Are we're not a developed country? Definitely. I mean, simple things like drinking water out of the tap. You got to fix that for people before you can call yourself a developed
a lot
country.
of people
We got to start somewhere.
A lot of people still live or earn their living being farmers with traditional.
Well, the farmers is
means.
fine, because
but
farmers make a good living.
That's also a standard that shows that we are not a developed country because we use traditional means, equipments.
At the end of the day, it's Trump administration. What can you do?
Yeah, that's true.
What can you do?
That's true.
And then
That's
you
the-
just have to continue to fight hard, make sure that we assist the SMEs. It's about how do we create jobs with the new markets being developing, our ability to consume locally
Local
made
products.
products. And that's where I think it's a wake-up call, but it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and I want us to also use it as a wake-up call to raise the standards of living here.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, get clean water, free public education,
We
decent
have to
infrastructure. Let's
our
become
income
a
per
real
capita
developed
is
country.
really still low, and
Of course.
unemployment rate is still pretty high, right?
And it's a good way to motivate ourselves. Hey, U.S. is calling us a developed country. We should really move towards.
Say amen to that
yeah,
as a
amen to that.
prayer.
If it were deserved, yes, but I think, yeah, you're right. We should move toward that. And, if I was a political leader, I would run on a platform of, hey, by the end of my term, you'll get clean drinking water.
But
Simple
something
thing.
like that.
But at least we have underlined our point here, made our statement. Are we a developed country? Not yet.
Not
but
yet.
Only
Not
under the
by
technical
any
trade
standard. Yes.
designation.
Yes.
That's all it is.
We might be under a lot of pressure right now, but we are not a failed country, and I do believe
No.
Indonesia is going to be a really, really
This is
strong
a workable
country.
democracy.
Of course. No.
know,
Huge,
fourth-
again, the word potential is
Yes.
always there. Okay. More Hot Indo is ahead. Ole, ole, or ole, what everyone takes home as the best
thought he was gonna
souvenirs.
sing.
I was going to sing for a second. You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's hot topic number 3, ole, ole, ole. In Japan, it's omiyage. In the US, it's a t-shirt. Here in Indonesia, ole,
What's
ole
omiyage?
means present. It means same thing, means present. A souvenir to take home to family and friends. Whether it's to eat or wear, we have a nice variety of things, yes we do, to give upon our return from holiday. Now, let me start. If I'm visiting Indonesia from abroad, I would recommend taking home some batik items, which is
Yeah.
our cultural
Not only
fabric,
batik.
and coffee. Those are my two things I ask people because coffee was often sourced here. What are your
Can you
favorite things?
safely take coffee to
Of
the
course,
States?
yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Because, I wouldn't only just limit to batik. We have a variety, countless models, designs of traditional Indonesian cloth from Sumatra, from Bali, songket, or tenun. Beautiful. You could wear it. You could use it as a tablecloth. You could put it on your
This
wall.
is a kind of batik, right?
This is a kind of batik.
Okay.
And aside from that, there is this shop, because I'm from Bali, there's this shop, I know this guy's name is Wiracana. He has this very cool boutique art shop that sells fans.
Oh, fancy.
Beautiful ones. You could find fans from just maybe 100,000 rupiahs until
$7.
up to 3 million rupiahs.
$30. $300.
$300.
Yeah.
Handcrafted, and it's practical.
Okay.
And you could put it as a desktop ornament.
Yeah.
And very nice, very
Yeah,
easy.
and we're showing
beautifully
pictures of it, a
packaged.
beautiful fan.
Yeah.
That's nice to take home. Sandy, what do you recommend from your visitors?
Ole, ole, ole.
Yeah, okay.
I would say, you mentioned batik, tenun.
Yeah.
Tenun is one of the natural cloth from the eastern part of Indonesia.
Handwoven.
Handwoven. I would say umbrella from Tasik. This is very carefully made
The painted
umbrella.
ones?
The painted
That's
ones.
a nice gift to take home.
Very nice. And coffee. It has to be coffee or tea.
Especially the
Yeah.
bucket list
Oh,
thing.
coffee and tea, tea
Kopi
also.
Coffee
luwak.
and tea.
Kopi luwak is
Tea,
the
also tea.
global.
Coffee and tea and t-shirt. T-shirt. We have good
Yes.
t-shirts here. And you
Actually, now we have a lot of local clothing lines.
Yeah, a lot of
made from
clothing lines.
traditional cloth.
Well, a lot of it is sourced here, global clothing companies.
And I think if you go to Japan, there's at the end of the visit, you have shops selling like Tokyo banana. You know, we
Tokyo,
need,
but why do people like that?
it's so hugely popular.
I know here,
We
but in
needed-
Japan we don't eat that.
We needed Jakarta banana. Similar.
in Bali-
I know a
Pisang
guy,
goreng,
we call
you
him
know.
a banana, this
We
guy. yeah.
banana fritters.
Okay.
You know, I think-
And Kit Kats, they have Kit Kats that you
Yeah.
bring home from
if
Japan,
it's
right?
packaged properly, then you would be
Yeah.
able to bring it abroad,
Packaging
right?
is half the deal, right? You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
because sometimes the food can't get through
But-
customs. But in Bali, we have lots of that. Pai susu, pia,
Yeah,
the
pia.
Balinese pia.
Okay,
Cashew
Pia
nuts.
Legong. Pia Legong is popular from Bali, right?
I know another brand that's better than pia legong.
cashew nuts. Oh,
Okay, kacang,
cashew
right?
nuts,
Pia
kacang.
Baturiti it's actually traditional from the area of Baturiti. If you want the real
Okay,
traditional.
and just so people don't know, Pia Legong is like a little pie,
Yeah,
a mini
custard pie.
with moonbeans. Mung beans.
mung beans
Mung
and
beans.
chocolate,
Chocolate
cheese,
and
different
cheese.
flavors,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
Originally
beautiful.
mung
And
beans.
what bakpia is similar from Jogja. right?
Bakpia is
Yes,
similar from
same.
Jogja,
That's
but they
popular.
have green beans.
Mung
they have
beans, the same mung
Yeah.
beans, yeah.
And
Those are the things domestic travelers
Yeah.
always bring back, right?
right,
And
and
from
also-
Bandung, Bandung is the brownies.
definitely the
Oh,
brownies, and then the siomai, which is like
Which is hard to bring abroad though.
Yeah.
Batagor,
Bandung
siomai.
siomai, really?
Yeah,
Because
Bandung
it's wet.
siomai.
It's wet.
You need that's packaging.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, we
it's
give-
how we should really push. But
You're right, it's the packaging, yeah. It's just
the
marketing.
the way that you look at this is huge impact on SMEs because most of these products again SMEs
Yeah,
like
You gotta
retail,
have a shirt, Sandy. It just says SME.
it's jobs at the end of the day.
Of course.
Now with the coronavirus and everything, okay, tourist numbers will come down, but we have domestic tourists.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we should really focus on domestic tourism,
Yep.
and we help the Hot Indonesia will help the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy.
Let's
We'll
do it.
promote.
No, we're
Looking forward to
promoting
that.
products. We just
And we
gave
need to
people
collaborate. It's collabs, collabs.
a whole list of things for
Hey,
people to take
Minister,
home.
collabs,
All right,
collabs.
listen
I
to
think
Sandy
Say
now. Okay.
collabs with a B.
Not
with a P.
collapse, but
It is
collaboration.
feedback time. We hope we hear from him. But do let us know what you're thinking from wherever you are in the world. Now, Mohammed posted this on our TV1 YouTube page. Public transportation needs to be more connected because cities like Bogor, Depok, and Bekasi lack connections. Well, we agree, Mohammed, and new links are being built or planned, right?
Yeah, I did that.
Huda had this to say on our Indonesia channel YouTube page. I like this content. Well, that is always good to hear, Huda. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words from Sandrina.
Yes, I would like to quote Sandy by saying,
you.
don't panic. It's not, well, it is, we're going through tough times, but remain calm and be considerate towards others. If you are about to forward information, please make sure that the information is correct. No need for panic buying and having a lot of stocks at home. I do believe things are going to be okay, and it's going to be business as usual.
Okay, final word, Sandy.
First of all, happy birthday, Dad. Grandfather online. Razif Halik Uno is 84 years old.
Wow.
May you have a long and healthy life. And second is Hot Indonesia is fully behind the disseminations of responsible informations in relations to the coronavirus. So please make sure you share only valid and verified information.
Yes, not just final, but good words. Okay, my final words. I have friends visiting with their baby daughter, and I'm reminded of the joys of parenthood. It's been a little bit since my daughter was young, but I remember the walks on the beach and watching hours and hours of Teletubbies together with her. No matter how old a parent you are, never forget that having a child is a blessing, and also always let them know that. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sanjino Malakiano, Santiago Uno, and me. Join us again next time.